What time is he calling?
7:15. First break.
I guess we'll tolerate that shit.
Hurricane Laura makes landfall in Louisiana. Your RNC update. Lavaca County Judge candidate Mark Myers joins us this morning. Brother Gary, and a whole lot more coming up on today's Wade and Carter Show. Thought you were setting your timer. Air slap bass.
Nothing says jazz.
What?
Nothing says jazz like the air slap bass. The stand-up bass.
Just didn't catch on when the air guitar rage.
Right. Why not? Things that show that convenience still matters.
Air guitar, air band. Nobody was ever in air jazz.
Right. We all played the air drums fairly well.
Yep. Especially in the car in the dashboard.
I've got a hi-hat over on the right side of my passenger seat that I can get to.
I used to play them and then off the kid's head.
Nice.
But nobody ever played the air trumpet, air saxophone a little bit.
Sometimes.
Nobody was big into the air keyboards.
No. Unless you were listening to Boston.
Or New Wave, but
Right.
or ELO. But nobody wanted junior high air band contests were big. Nobody wanted to be the air keyboardist.
No, but sometimes, like if you're doing Ronnie Millsap,
Well, you have no choice.
right? Have you seen? He got a new piano. Have you seen it?
I-
He hasn't either. He just takes their word for it.
Stevie Wonder, on the other hand, probably has seen his. Still, those videos where it's pretty obvious.
Superstitions. Yeah, he ain't blind.
No.
Don't let Stevie Wonder kid you, folks.
Oh,
It's
man.
it's his shtick.
Speaking of shtick, let's do this. Well,
How about if we just?
yeah.
How about if I just tell you that for all you need, there's Deerland Feed, folks. Get over to Deerland Feed. Who did we talk to yesterday? Matt Boucher said, "Hey, I get in there all the time. Things you need. Go see Lacey Rosenquist, Lacey Deerland Rosenquist, part of the fam.
All your fencing needs.
Seeds, fertilizers. They got stuff to help plants grow. They got stuff to kill plants. They got stuff to help your dog's coat. They got stuff to kill stuff on your dog.
They got stuff that'll help your plants grow straight.
Yep, they got stuff. Just do it. Go buy it. Deerland Feed has stuff. And if it involves the outdoors, agriculture, pets, horses, fencing,
Goats, sheep.
fat kids, skinny kids. There you go.
There it is.
They've got it all.
Now it's running. There we go.
The bottom line is it's 75 degrees in Victoria. The weather brought to you by the good folks at Deerland Feed. 75 degrees in Victoria, heading to a high today of 98. It's going to be mostly sunny most of the day.
I think there's a slight chance of rain, but not much.
Not much. Unlike Lake Charles, Louisiana, where it is raining and the wind is blowing, and Hurricane Laura came ashore angry about 11-something last night.
Yeah, as a Cat 4, almost a Cat 5, 150 mile an hour sustained winds. A friend of mine lives in the Beaumont area, Deweyville, I think, and I said, hey, if you need to get out, come this way. And they went north and west to Athens, Texas. But we were talking last night, and this one probably has me more worried for the death and destruction that it's going to leave behind than maybe many others.
We were just talking about before the show, there's always those people, and unfortunately, they're usually elderly folks. I'm just going to stay and ride it out.
And 2 were his parents, and he was trying desperately last evening to get him out of there.
It's just not smart. You know, that's why you buy insurance, batten it down, and get out of there. Give us a quick update of who's with us, and can we see who's with us?
Yeah. BJ Nelson says morning prayers to all those in Louisiana.
Yes.
Bobby Leister's in. Greg Garcia says his wife played a mean air accordion when she jams to Weird Al.
Yeah, that's a nice touch in the air band is the accordion.
He said nobody wanted to be the air kazoo guy.
No, we can all do it. We can kind of do it.
It's almost trombone-ish.
Sort of.
Miranda Tunchez is in. Amanda Bloschke. Patrick Strauss. Carl Big Boy Smith. Christina Wise. David Glass. Good morning. Judge Posey. Kevin Myers. Marvin Mickish. Chris Conrad. Dave Garza first one in. Good morning to you, sir.
I just spelled Mark Myers' name. I just put M-Y because I was thinking Mike Myers. We're going to have so much fun with him when he calls.
He's going to join us about 7:15 this morning. Milwaukee County Judge candidate. Interesting. That's a whole interesting. We'll get into the details of how that all played out because it wasn't your typical election process. They didn't have your primaries. They didn't have runoffs because of the timing of everything. It's interesting.
You are a seasoned radio professional. Because, period. I mean, you are, but the reason that I know it is because you state with such confidence that something's going to be interesting. Like I would say, it's interesting. It's like Saskatchewan. It's interesting, not Saskatchewan. It's interesting, but you say it, and you say it with such conviction that I believe that the people out there listening to us, they believe you. They accept from you that it's going to be interesting.
I hope they find it interesting.
No, but that's not the way you say it. You say, what? Well, we'll get into that because it's interesting. And I'm like, man, I hope it is. Can you imagine like we had like a reader meter and all of a sudden it go, like, no, it's not interesting. They're gone. They left. Good morning, Sheriff Louderback.
Somehow, I wonder how they stick around the whole show.
Sometimes it's just a conversation between two great friends, and we're just glad to share it with you. Yeah. Sometimes it's international content-driven media.
Most times it falls short of that.
Somewhere in the middle. I wonder what things were like on that lazy river there in Lake Charles. What is that, the Golden Nugget? I bet you could get around that dude in about 20 sequence with that Hurricane Laura coming in.
Don't hang on to the tube.
You're just going around, man.
Arthur O'Brien says the Bruins got smoked. Yeah, I think it was 7-1 the last score I saw. They had to bring their backup goalie in, and he looked like a backup goalie.
OB, good to hear from you, sir.
Lisa Poole's in this morning. Bobby Leister. I think the Leisterometer's holding steady at 92.
Interesting.
Robin Moore Knipling, C.W. Bean, Matt O'Shea.
That's interesting.
Missy Madden Klimacek.
Hello, Dr. Klimacek.
Jenny Kuches. Diane Tippett.
Hi, Diane.
Greg Garcia says he plays the trombone. Is that the real trombone or the air trombone, Greg?
I think he probably plays the air trombone.
Rena Scherer checking in.
Hello,
Scott
Rena.
Tomko, Sheriff Louderback.
BJ Nelson says, move on. Apparently that wasn't interesting to her. You see? But you say it with such conviction. I think she's defending you like I'm picking on you.
Maybe. But I was talking, get back to the whole Hurricane Laura, which I think is still like a Cat 3.
It's like in Kentucky. Yeah, it's a Cat 3 in Kentucky.
This thing is going to take a hard right and then emerge on the East Coast and reach tropical storm status again when it hits the Atlantic and maybe intensify. Yeah, that's what they're calling for.
Like the U.S. was just a bump in the road, kind of like the Yucatan.
Yeah. I'll say this. The only thing that the forecasters got right on this one was the one storm out of the two between Marco and Laura that we had to be concerned about. Because remember the original projections? They thought at one time this thing was just going to turn and go up either side of the Florida coast. They weren't sure which. They didn't think it was going to intensify that much, but it was going to be worse than Marco.
Right.
Here we are.
BJ Nelson says, did you watch the RNC? It was amazing and inspiring. You know, BJ, my problem is I'm cynical and experienced. I didn't watch much of it. I know there are some fantastic stories out there. Kellyanne Conway made some great remarks.
Kayleigh McEnany was powerful and moving yesterday.
But some of it is it's just so much politics. You know, when I mean, I get it. Trump's going to speak tonight. 4 years ago at this time when he accepted the nomination, he painted a really, what do they call it, dystopian view of you. Basically, hey, if you don't elect me, the country's going to fall further into ruin. What's interesting to me is that unemployment at that time was at 4.5%. It's not like Donald Trump came in during the Great Depression, even though I was adamantly against Hillary and was no fan of Barack Obama. The country wasn't just in turmoil despite their idiocy. And I look at it now, Trump apparently tonight, to a degree, is going to paint himself as the last standing light of hope for the U.S.
and the American dream.
Right.
And he kind of is.
He's right. I do. But I mean, it's just all so much politics. I would be curious to see if anybody on either side has been swayed by the conventions. Is there anybody out there who was leaning towards voting for Donald Trump, who was inspired by Joe Biden's 24-minute recorded speech? Or is there anybody out there who was leaning towards Joe Biden and the Democrats, or was an anti-Trumper, if you will, who has seen and heard enough from these large group of people who have just waxed eloquent about all the great things Trump has done, many of which I agree with? Have they persuaded you to come to the right? Or is everybody just going, yeah, that's why I'm voting for Trump right there. That's why I'm voting for Donald Trump, because that's what I think is happening for me.
Well, I think on both sides, there's, like I said, I think there's a large echo chamber. I thought, not last night, I thought the night before, some of the most compelling speeches were those from the small business owners that spoke up.
Right.
And I think if you wanted to appeal to middle America and those who may be on the fence, those were the ones that could have convinced you. I thought Jack Brewer yesterday was pretty solid.
Yeah.
I liked his speech. Lifelong Democrat, says he supports Donald Trump. He pointed out some things that were interesting of the 7 million new jobs created under Donald Trump. And I don't give the president credit for that. I give him some credit because he cut red tape. He got the oil industry back going after it was systematically tried to be shut down by the Obama administration and their push towards green energy, which only lined the pockets of Barack's buddies with $500 million in loan guarantees that never had to get paid back, and the money just disappeared.
Let me tell you something. Two things for you. One, first, BJ Nelson says, yes, I think some Americans have been swayed to vote for Trump, and I agree, and I believe that Trump's going to win.
Brewer pointed out that 2/3 of those jobs went to minorities and women.
Yeah, no, Trump's definitely Hispanic, Black, female. All those unemployment numbers were at all-time lows until COVID. I'm going to tell you something that I remember from my college days when they were talking about the demise of the American railroad. Now, the railroads come back in large form because it is absolutely the most efficient way to move large portions of product. But the demise of the railroad, I'll never forget a history professor told me, the problem with the railroad is they forgot they were in the transportation business and they were determined to be in the railroad business. Now, follow me on this. These huge companies with unbelievable profits, the one that leaps to the fore is Exxon. Quit being in the oil and gas business and be in the energy business. Why doesn't Exxon take some of the huge profits they make, that I don't begrudge them, and find alternative energy methods that'll benefit the country? Don't just be so myopic that we're in the oil business. Be in the energy business. Why does Tesla have to lead the way in battery research when Exxon could write a check for Tesla tomorrow?
Caller, hang on. We're going to get to a break.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing is, I mean, let's be honest. The only, in my opinion, energy that really makes sense is nuclear, and people are so scared of it
because they're ignorant. It's nuclear. If you're a George Bush fan, nuclear energy. Yeah, there is no doubt that all these Green New Deal idiots, the cleanest form of electric energy, absolutely by far, is nuclear. Zero emissions.
Damming up our rivers was remember when that was the way to go in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, and now we're getting away from it.
That was really about real estate.
Do I really want to drive this great country and look everywhere and see a bunch of windmills?
No, and they don't work anyway. They never pay for themselves. No, that's a joke. That was a governmental hoax. Real quick, folks, we're going to have a guest, going to take a break. Allen's Record Service, 578-6300. Allen's for all your towing needs. Allen's, when you're on the side of the road and don't know who to call, phone a friend. Call Allen's Record Service at 578-6300. This guest brought to you by our banner sponsor, the VCS Companies, Rocket Oilfield Services, and the only locally owned or authorized AT&T retailer. All part of the Hartman Communication Empire. If it communicates, if it monitors, if it secures your facility, if it videos what goes on at your place, it is VCS. Ask them about the new Jerry Falwell Jr. in-home bedroom marital bliss monitoring package. They've got it. VCS, Rocket Oilfield Services, AT&T. SCT Building Systems, Clayton Casey Health, 564-8864.
For all your metal building needs, from a simple patio cover to a barn dominium, SCT can get the job done from start to finish, and they'll even finish it out for you on the outside as well.
Horse stalls, they've got it all. You got some property, you want to put some horse stalls, they can make them first class. Furnish it from Chestnut Furniture Company. 100 years in downtown Victoria at the corner of Juan Linden Bridge, 116 West Juan Linden. Put it into your GPS and get down there. They were there before GPS. 116 West Juan Linden. They've got bedding, Tempur-Pedic bedding, all types of appliances, televisions, refrigerators, washers, dryers, accoutrement. And then they've also got 50% off on all furniture in celebration of 100 years. So
Jenny Kuchis yells no, and I'm wondering if she's yelling at you to stop with the talk about getting rid of the oil industry. It's not going anywhere this time.
No, it's not going anywhere.
You know what's interesting though?
No, it's
didn't catch that. But you remember this time when we were young, oil was supposed to be gone by this time of our lives.
And our life was an open book.
Greg Garcia says, would cow flatulence be a viable option?
It would be if you could harness that energy. Yes.
James Kerr says he slept above 8 40-year-old nuclear reactors in the USS Enterprise for 4 years of his life, and he's okay.
That's debatable. Man, that right there could be
that could be a whole show. Speaking of which, we've got to move on because we've got a caller. Good morning, Wade and Carter. Hello. Hey, Mark. Good. We're excited to be joined by you this morning, or to have you join us. So thank you very much for calling.
Thank you. We try so hard. I want to apologize up front.
You paid attention to our word of the day. Did you catch that?
The word of the day is interesting. I did. I teased up you being on there. I said live, and I misspelled Myers. Instead of MEYERS, I put
it's MY.
I did spell it right. Okay, good. Okay, I feel better. Yeah. There you go.
Hey, doesn't that information come straight off the card that you provide them?
So you went to A&M? Did you go to A&M? Okay, there you go. That explains it. By the way, they had the evacuation routes on the internet yesterday in Houston. They said if you went to Texas, you go west up 290. If you went to SMU, Baylor, U of H, you go north up I-45. They said if you went to Texas A&M, you just get on 610. Just drive around
in
just
circles.
Keep going. Doesn't look now like I don't think Houston's even going to get very much rain based on what I've seen. Yes, sir.
Yeah, 7/10 is what we got at the 2-4 ranch. So, Mark, you're the Lavaca County judge, Republican candidate. The process to this, to use our word of the day, was interesting because a longtime judge got an offer he could not refuse and went to work for TAC. But the timing was a little bit off. So explain all that, because I don't know that people understand this, and I think maybe some people might be confused. Some people might say, "Well, there's some chicanery going on, and this ain't right." We're following you.
I got you on that. Well, we had heard that you went into Hoffer's to get some dried sausage. And at the very last minute, somebody said, that guy be a good county judge. And that doesn't make you a bad person either, because my experience has been there are some really good folks and some really rational, conservative people in Lavaca County. I'm excited for you, sir. There you go.
Well, the federal politicians will tell you the opposite.
Right. Yeah.
You work for us. We don't work for you. What's been the most eye-opening sort of revelation as this process unfolded for a political neophyte like you, who's never really been in there, and you were one of two candidates who up against the one that they chose to be the incumbent. Did you think you had a chance going in? Did you think you had a chance to be the one?
That's right. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Well,
Schulenburg area has seen a lot of people from San Antonio move east and into that area. Do you see something similar maybe for Hallettsville? You got proximity to I-10.
and Splashway. You're close to Splashway. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we spend extensive time with our county judge. Judge Ben Zeller is a great friend of the show, and he's probably listening right now. And you know, we joke about it, but you know, you're coming from the law enforcement side of things. And if Lavaca is anything like Victoria County, at the county level, one of your, certainly if not the biggest by far, is probably at least second, is your law enforcement expenditure. We call it the law enforcement investment. We don't believe that you it's not an expense, it's an investment. I feel comforted that with your background in law enforcement and your proximity to Victoria and on this Highway 77 corridor, that Lavaca County will continue to be important in the interdiction effort. As we, you know, just recently, we don't talk about it in the media anymore, Mark, because if a person of color isn't shot, it doesn't make the news. But here in Victoria County, just this week, what was it, Ash?
In the last week, I think within the last few days, two stops of vehicles coming through the county. One had a couple dozen pounds of meth, which is a lot of meth.
Right.
The other one had, I think, a couple 100 pounds of marijuana in traffic stops in Victoria
Hardly
County.
makes the news because you know it happened without incident. But you know we're huge law enforcement proponents. We're kind of putting a little pressure on you here. Judge Zeller's a big fan of the show. Michael Cloud is on almost every time he's in district. AJ Louderback, our friend over in Jackson County.
Alan West
Alan
comes on the
West, the head of the
show.
Republican Party. All of these folks were on our show and got elected, Mark, and got elected. So we're going to put a little pressure on you to keep our streak going. Yeah.
Well, we appreciate that. What can the voters of Lavaca, why should the voters of Lavaca County, vote for you, and what can they expect if you win the election in November?
That's awesome.
Right?
Who is Brenda Cash to you? Is that family? There you go. Well, I'm looking at it because she put a note on here. She said he has a criminal justice degree, a peace officer certificate, administrative experience, and can sit on the bench and govern from day one. So there you go. And so does Cheryl Thompson Draper, says vote Mark Myers for Republican nominee for Lavaca County judge. That's awesome, sir. It's great to have good grassroots support. That's all you're going to get in Hallettsville. Hallettsville is grassroots, you know? I mean, that's, yes, sir. We love going up there.
And Lavaca County is important to this region. We hear it all the time when Judge Zeller's in, that he works with the judges in the counties that surround us. This is a regional effort as well.
You know, that is a great
Now
county.
you just left out Sweet Home.
No, that is, can't leave out. Don't you leave out Mary Pavliska. Don't you leave Mary Pavliska and Mike Pavliska out of that deal. No, I tell you what, when you can throw into, that's a heck of a great county right there. There's a lot of history there. There's a lot to do. There's a lot of economic development.
A lot of good baseball there played over the years.
When you say Shiner and Moulton and then you get over in Hallettsville, that's God's country. Speaks too, she said. Yeah. You got to get them all. You got to get them all. Is there
Stratton up there?
I don't. Is there any truth that the county may chip in and try to get the Bel Air back operating up there? You know, we've been missing the Bel Air. Well, your passion is obvious, and it's exciting to us to see good people get involved in the system. And Ash and I, we're probably, even though it would be interesting, we're probably going to let it go. We had a whole bit lined out to kind of ask you how you made the transition from your early acting career when you were in the Halloween series, how you morphed into Dr. Evil in the Austin Powers series. And we were just going to go down that route and then have you go, no, that's Mike Myers. And then we were going to go, oh, sorry, well, we got to go. But no, we really appreciate your time on this. No, hey, trust me, we're on the same boat. Our dear friend BJ Nelson of White Trash Services says, hey, all those areas that we just mentioned, they're all served by White Trash Services. Fantastic.
Mark, good luck. We appreciate it. And, good luck with the campaign from here until November 3rd.
Yes, sir. And would you please make a note and check back in with us after your victory, please? We'd love to have you, sir. God bless and be well.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Right time to tell you, BJ Nelson right there. Just when you start saying Speaks, Sweet Home, Hallettsville, Schultz, Shiner, Moulton, they got it all. They're all up there.
White Trash.
So 550-1826. What the heck? That segment brought to you by BJ Nelson.
Have a trash-tastic day
at White Trash Services.
And that's just one of the 6 counties that they serve.
Yeah, plus Holiday Beach and Rockport.
So that would technically make it 7.
Soon to be the San Antonio Riverwalk with stop-offs in Bernie, maybe downtown Fredericksburg, and all the wineries in West Texas.
Recycling wine bottles one at a time.
Veracruz today for lunch, Veracruz to go, Veracruz all day long. Get on by Veracruz, 576-6015 if you want to pick it up to go. Veracruz will take care of you and your family. I mean, you can go by and order fajitas for 10, no problem.
No problem.
Call it what you want. You're getting fajitas for 2. But anyway,
you are.
Fajitas for 10 on a diet. There you go. Go by Veracruz and reach out to Leonida Caballero. Also, don't forget Miss Minnie. If she's there, give her a hug. It's beautiful.
I saw her the other day when I was there, last week when I was there for what was there? I was there Monday, and I saw her in the distance. She was busy waiting tables, running around, so didn't get a chance to say hi.
I have to ask you something.
Yep.
I'm being sincere here. Don't you have to figure that Lavaca County is probably a red county? Now, I'm not being silly here. I think, don't you think? I mean, obviously, you got to run. There's only two ways to run, right? Unopposed and scared to death. But you got to figure that Mark Myers kind of has a leg up in a county that's built with good, salt of the earth working folks. They got to.
You would think, but I didn't get a sense that he's taking anything for granted.
No, not at all. He's clearly out. I mean, he's talking to us, and we're not even in his county.
No, that's good.
How about that? Talk about reaching out across the counties. Atzenhofer dealership. Since 1926, this region's Chevy dealer. There's other Chevy dealers in the area. None of them have anywhere near the volume
Or the experience.
of the Atzenhofers. Since 1926.
Or the lineage.
Yes, right there on the. It was on the Navarro Motor Mile when it used to be the Navarro Dirt Road going north. They've been out there forever. Ed Atzenhofer came
That's
out
a
there.
2-lane trip to Hallettsville right there.
He's like, that's a car. No, that's a truck. Okay, well, we'll sell it. $500. It was the Chevy 500. Why? It cost $500. That's a true story. Since 1926. Now it's called the Cadillac 95,778 because that's the horsepower. They service all makes and models. They fix the dents on everything. Reach out to Atzenhofer for all your needs. Atzenhofer.com. Shop online. Shop from the convenience of your home. COVID-free. And just go pick it up.
You can.
You sure can.
They'll pick it up. They'll have a mask on the radiator. Keep the car
Razor
from catching
IT
COVID as well.
Solutions. Interesting. Razor IT Solutions. Reach out to JP Hull. Let his team come out. They'll help you with your analytics. They'll help you. Oh, goodness. Air Fleet for the Marshall Tucker Band. It's nice, Kevin. Nice. Well, BJ Nelson points out Wade and Carter is worldwide, or at least multiple counties. You know, just for a second, honestly, we've been in Italy,
Germany,
Australia. We're talking about live check-ins, people checking in live from Australia, Germany,
Italy,
England often. All over
Canada all the time. Mike Seagrove checked in this morning. I want to say hi to Mike from Bowmanville, Ontario.
From that booming communist country,
Yes.
California. They've checked in often.
Seattle area. We've got listenership in Seattle area. Not that that's a country, but we've been huge in Colombia.
It's a chop.
We've been huge in Puerto Vallarta.
I think the cartel was listening in for a while to see if there was something to compromise.
I think you're right.
Pat McDonald, good morning, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Back to JP Hull. Let him reach out and help you with your
Jeremy
analytics.
Pena says we've been all over New Mexico, Louisiana, Mississippi.
Yes, very blessed with Jeremy Pena doing it, sir. And I know you're going to be over there helping folks with the storm.
We're huge in Sacramento.
We wish you safe travels. Dawn Nicole points out TLAT, the lovely and talented. She points out that we've checked in from Cabo and Manzanilla, as have Rena and Calvin Shear, Ricky De La Garza, Dana Moore. We've done it.
Stephen Kidder checked in and called from Denver. That's right. He was up there for a race.
Steve Kidder has checked in from Moonshine.
He was running in a half-K beer bong race, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Specs, Twins, checked in.
Coors Brewery Tour.
Absolutely. Oh, folks. JP just wants this bit to end. JP, seriously, reach out. Let him help you with your analytics and all of your encrypted data. Steve Kidder says he checked in and called from Denver.
Yep, that's right, he did. He was trying to drain a vat at the Coors Brewery.
Where he was born in the summer of his 42nd year. On a Rocky Mountain high. Was it 42nd? Can you tell me John Denver's real name?
No.
Somebody can, but you can't spell it right.
I always thought he was the father of the kid that played Cousin Oliver on the Brady Bunch because they looked exactly alike.
Yes. No, his actual name was David Dusseldorf.
Really?
Imagine that. Dusseldorf.
How do you get John from David?
I don't know. I think it was David Dusseldorf.
Okay.
Yeah. Steve Kidder says I should have kept quiet.
I don't know.
You can't do that. You're a lawyer.
They worked well for David Hasselhoff.
Right? What was his real name?
David Hasselhoff.
You can't prove it. Catherine Ives has checked in from Cozumel and where? Somewhere else?
Cancun and Cozumel.
Cancun and Cozumel.
Arizona, my cousins check in from there and others.
Yep. That's all Jeremy Pena.
Yeah. I know we've had listeners in Montana. We're huge.
Why do I picture Steve Kidder in Strange Brew? It's from all those years of sleeping above the nuclear reactor.
Keith Meyer says we were heard in Cyprus this morning. Not North Houston, the country.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, wow. We are international.
Well, we were also integral in the Middle East peace talks.
Well, we were.
They used to waterboard people for information. Now they just force them to listen to endless loops of Wayne and Carter. I'll tell you anything. Just turn off that Carter guy.
Jeff Fonseca says we're huge and we sad.
Yes, we are. Thank you, Jeff.
And Myersville.
Seguin. Oh, I was wrong. Jay Dub comes in with Henry John Dusseldorf. Thank you. I thought it was David.
Where else have we been big? Concrete.
Anyone following Tri-County POA, when I broke down the acronym, I just got in trouble.
That's not what it stands for.
I thought it was Tri-County piece of ass. I'm like, I don't know her, but she gets around. Man, I don't know that girl, but she does get around if she's the Tri-County POA.
Everybody's following the Tri-County POA. If that's your nickname.
That's it. Play by sense of smell.
J Dub checks in, and Anita Wiley was on. She became a radio star in Calgary, where we have a big following as well. Because football playing son Giancarlo Wiley, extraordinaire, one of the top rated football players in Canada for his graduation year. Their high school season has been put on hold in Calgary until October, or at least that was the way. Anita was on saying, this is all politics because there's other parts of Alberta, which is the province, which would be like the state of Texas, where the UIL said, okay, here's the rules. Class 1 to 4A, here's your rule. Class 5A, 6A, here's your rules. But they set uniform start dates.
Okay.
In Alberta, it's been all over the board. Calgary, and I'm sure probably because the mayor there absolutely hates sports, they said, no, you can't start till October.
Lumpy Mondello, the mayor of Calgary.
Yeah. Other mayors and other municipalities and school districts up there have said, no, we're going to start now. We're going to start maybe a week into September. It's kind of been all over the board. So she was accusing everybody of playing some politics and not doing and following anything. Well, now she just sent me a text saying that the high school sports season has been postponed in Calgary until a final decision can be made. Now, what the hell does that even really mean?
Right. A final decision after the season's over. Can you see Anita? She's
postponing it for a final decision, which tells me the final decision has already been made and it's going to be done.
Anita's down there at city council going, hey, my kid's got a chance to play at Michigan. You guys are costing me some cheese here. It's not right. It ought to be uniform. It doesn't make any sense to me. If you're not going to do it, don't. By the way, did you see, not that we watch it, I don't watch it, but the fact that I'm not watching it, you ain't watching it either. NBA boycotted their own playoffs.
Yeah.
They decided that this latest round of violence, Ash and I have gone back and forth about this, folks. We're not ignoring what's happening in Wisconsin.
We're waiting
to see what happens so we can say, okay, this is what happened. Yes, a man got shot. Yes, there's multiple videos. You got to wonder, even if you're a dirty cop, now is not the time to be shooting somebody if you don't have to. You got to figure that most of them have some semblance of common sense, even if they're dirty. So you got to figure there's more to this story, and we're kind of waiting that out. In the meantime, the rioters and looters are not, and there is a lot of peaceful destruction and protests going on in the north central part of the country.
I found it interesting yesterday that the mayor of Washington, after kicking the National Guard out, when they were there to restore peace and order, told citizens yesterday, just call the police if you feel threatened by these unpeaceful protesters who are going along the sidewalk, cafes, and restaurants, intimidating patrons.
Yeah. Call the cops for that. They're going to send thoughts and prayers. BJ Nelson says NBA stands for nobody attending. And there's some truth in that, Ash.
And the MBW, because nobody's watching either. I think this year's playoffs down 28%.
So down 28% down. Nobody's watching it.
From last year's playoffs, which had already fallen from the previous year's playoffs. I think if you add it up from just a few years ago, viewership is down
40,
probably
roughly.
at least in the high 30s, 40%.
Well, you pointed out one, and it's funny how the media is so pro this Black Lives Matter and all this hoolah that they pointed out, well, the playoffs being down is consistent with TV being down 19%. It's tracking with television. Well, the last time we checked, 19 to 28 is a 50% decrease in viewership.
So it's not tracking with the viewership decrease in TV in general during this summer and COVID when people have decided, you know what, we're finding other things to do. But yeah, if it was if the NBA was tracking at a 19% decrease, you could say, okay, well, nobody's watching TV. That makes sense.
Right.
They're down 28%. They're down an extra 9% on top of that. So nobody's watching the NBA.
So here's Steve Kidder. Steve Kidder's an attorney, and just to read his statement, he says he was reaching into his minivan while walking away from officers with weapons trained on him. You've got to assume the gentleman is up to no good. He's not reaching in there for a tract on his relationship with Jesus Christ. He's reaching in there for a weapon.
And they released a 911 call yesterday. And it runs counter to the narrative that he just happened along to see two women fighting and stopped to break it up. No, the 911 call was specific about Jacob Blake stealing a woman's car keys, not giving them back,
breaking up the fight,
and in an area where he shouldn't have been, which a lot of people said means he probably had a restraining order against him because he's also facing some felony abuse charges and had a felony warrant for his arrest.
Didn't he have multiple calls for spousal abuse or domestic violence?
Somebody with the same name. I couldn't verify it that it was actually him, but the fact he lived on the street that this confrontation took place and the address matches up. Yeah, I would say yeah. But the police, he was the reason police were called. It wasn't a domestic disturbance between two women. He was the domestic disturbance, according to the 911 call that was released yesterday.
Now, did he die?
No.
Well, then what are they complaining about? Joe Biden should be thrilled. Yeah. Just shoot to injure him.
Did he deserve to be shot?
I don't know.
You
got to wonder with
but
3
they
or 4
tased
police
him.
There, they could take him down.
I don't know. I think there were 2. But they tased him. And it had no effect on him, which makes you wonder.
PCP.
What could he have been on something?
I would bet on it. If you get tased and you don't go down, didn't you see Hangover in the face? I mean, that taser is going to put you down.
Yeah.
If you're just there to break up the violence.
He had a police officer on his back and he was on his knees and he shook the guy off and was able to walk around the car at that point. But here's the interesting thing. Well, the police shouldn't have shot him. So he gets into a car where they've said there was a knife. There are reports that he had threatened to go get his gun. But what if he had gotten in that car with 3 kids and it drove away and something then happened?
Right. They'd have blamed the cops for that.
They'd have blamed the cops for that anyway.
They also, James Kerr said they had him on the ground briefly just before that. I want to read this up above kind of verbatim. I like it. Jonathan Houghton says, so I'm waiting on the evidence in the Wisconsin shooting as well. However, the current culture in the U.S. advocates disregarding orders given by the police. Which advocates disregarding orders given by the police is to blame for the shooting. Simple fact that had he stopped and followed the instructions of law enforcement, he would not have gotten shot. I've never seen it happen on video. Police say, get on the ground, and you get on the ground. Put your hands behind your head. You put your hands behind your head, and then they shoot you. I've never seen it. If you choose to argue with them or, hey, I didn't do it or he did it, when you put your hands in your pocket, you're going to get shot. It doesn't really matter what color you are.
That looks like the Facebook monitors.
How about that? We talk about something controversial and Facebook cuts off our video. That blows my mind. Look, folks, there is no free speech in America. They don't want open dialogue. It's unbelievable.
And you can't. All we just presented were facts.
That is unbelievable, but interesting. You want me to try to start it again?
Yeah.
Hang on.
No, the videos. I mean, the video's been stopped. The audio's still going, but
if you can still hear us, that's good.
Real quick, if you can still hear us, get to Uncle Mutt's Barbecue today.
Absolutely. Have some protesting. Go protest by having brisket, ribs, sausage, chicken, turkey. They've got it all the side dishes. Get some pea salad. Say, hey, Carter sent me. I want some pea salad. I'd love to let them know when you go through that you heard about it on Wade and Carter. It's always good. It's always good. They love what we do for them. They love what you do for them, and they love doing it for you. But every now and then just tell them, hey, we heard about you on Wade and Carter, came by, I wanted to say hi. Gray Barn Design, you don't have to tell Cheryl that. She knows where you're
It's just our video that they're having troubles playing.
920-6803.
She hears us and sees us.
Good
to know.
Well, it's just our video that's not playing. But they do that to us, I think.
I think
so. It's interesting. They block your laptop. 920-6803, Gray Barn Design will make your next event eventful. You'll be memorable, happy. You can enjoy your party. Travis Goodlock says, last time I told him Carter sent me, they charged me extra.
Tell them Wade sent you.
Yeah.
Give you a discount.
Oh, yeah, because everybody Wade's the fireman. I'm the cop. Everybody likes a fireman. 920-6803, reach out to Cheryl. Reach out to Wind Services today if you want solar panels, if you want battery backups for that, if you need a generator, and you do need a generator. You think those folks in Lake Charles wish they had a generator right now? Hundreds of thousands of folks without power. The ones that have it, of course, I mean,
everybody's going over there as soon as the wind stops blowing.
Sitting there in my house, the roof's gone, but I got a fan going because my generator's working.
And you're watching your TV to see where the storm is.
Keep them skeeters off me. You reach out to Wind Services, let them come out, and they will hook your family up for real. And USA Concrete Coatings. Charlie Garcia is the consummate professional. He'll come out, he'll level your home. 578 Home, he'll level your home, and then he'll put down a new poly something or another.
That's way stronger than epoxy. It's antimicrobial, antibacterial. They'll do it in a day.
Yes.
One day.
Patios, porches, they'll do it all. While they're there, you can probably cut a deal on multiple surfaces. They'll take care of you. 578 Home, reach out to Charlie Garcia.
Jeremy Pena says he's heading that way. 26 homes that he's already been told of. Adam Daughtry says they might be firemen to go and arrest people because
I'm the cop. I'll just stay here.
So just a quick thought before we bring the brother man in. You know, all these protests. No, let's rephrase that. All these riots. Rome has been burning for 3 months now. Has it solved anything?
No.
I was involved in a conversation with a law enforcement friend. I won't say his name because I don't know that he wants me to do it. But there's about, on average, 2.5 police shootings a day in this country. So that's roughly, what does it take you? 800, 900 shootings a year, right?
Yeah, 850 or so.
There are about 8 million interactions with police in this country on a yearly basis.
Right.
Those are the numbers, folks. Those are the numbers.
1/10,000%, something stupid like that.
And the Washington Post, up until a couple of years ago, and I don't know they do it anymore because it might deflate their narrative. They used to track the shootings, and the number of unarmed people shot by police was even smaller. I mean, I think in the teens.
No doubt. I mean, I will soon have the license to carry. If an officer pulls me over for anything, I can't tell him quick enough. Here's my license. There's a weapon in my console. It is not on my person. I'm a 57-year-old white guy. You got to protect yourself because I don't blame these guys anymore for being somewhat shell-shocked. They're tired of it. Everybody hates them. Everybody's verbally abusive to them. Everybody assumes that they're out to get them and they're videoing them. You know, it's like, if you do anything to me, I've got it on tape. The whole system is wired to be anti-LEO.
Well, what's wrong is right now, and what's right is wrong. and everybody screams First Amendment, they tend to forget your right to peaceably assemble and protest, and free speech does not ensure or give you the right to infringe on my rights as a free citizen to go about my life. So when you sit down in the middle of a road, your assembly is no longer peaceful. And now you've infringed upon my rights as somebody who does not want to be part of your protest.
Well, you saw the restaurant the other day where the couple was sitting there, and the BLM people, which was all a bunch of really scraggly looking white kids. That's the truth. That's what I saw. A bunch of scraggly, white trash looking kids going up to people and intimidating them and trying to get them to hold up this solidarity fist. And I couldn't help but think, they talk about Trump being a fascist and all of this business. And I thought, who's like the jackleg Nazi making you pledge allegiance to something? You're just sitting in a restaurant. It was a teenage boy and a girl, and they're basically just right up in his face, berating him. He's scared to death, and rightfully so. There was 20 of them saying, calling him all kinds of hateful stuff because he didn't want to pledge allegiance to their flag.
And wrap it up, because I think before the Brother Man in, Jack Brewer yesterday on his speech said, I know racism. I've seen it. I felt it. He's been involved as a witness in a trial. He said he dealt with the skinheads growing up in Grapevine, Texas. He point blank said, President Trump is not a racist.
No, there's no doubt. I agree. So Heather Monroe, MUNRO, very efficient.
From Toronto.
Canadian flag on there.
She's from Toronto, and she's checking in this morning. So, good morning.
So, Brother Man,
all right.
Can you lighten it up a little bit?
Well, let's lighten it up a little bit, but hey, love what you said. And basketball, we weren't watching anyway.
No.
Watch it.
Well, there were no games last night. They all
shut it down.
They all boycotted it.
Watched it anyway. So anyway, guys, let me give you a couple of events. I got a little bit for you. Okay, here we go. This one about dogs, Dorothy County Pet Adoption Center. It's National Clear the Shelters Week. I want y'all to know that. All available adoption fees at Dorothy O'Connor now through Monday, 50% off their listed price. And that includes shots, vaccination, microchip, the whole works. So 50% off now through Monday. If you want a little buddy,
that's a great
yesterday was National Dog Day.
Yep.
Right. I know animal control has been overrun.
Yep.
It saddened me earlier. They had a beautiful German Shepherd owner surrendered, and they were so overrun that it wasn't able to get out of there. It just absolutely breaks my heart. I can't handle it. Yeah. We've got way too many irresponsible pet owners in this region.
Well, that's why we say that. Here's a chance.
It's a fantastic gift for a child, fantastic gift for somebody that's homebound.
We'll make donations to help you get that baby. I'll be glad to.
Sure.
I want to mention one other fishing tournament. I know you like that too.
Love it.
Nails and Tails fishing tournament this weekend, Port O'Connor, Crossroads Builders Association. So those kind of nails like this.
Right.
With a hammer.
Absolutely.
It's open fishing. Registration deadline Friday at 6:30. Raises money for the Crossroads Builders Association scholarship fund and so forth. So
fantastic.
There's a couple. Miss Victoria Packard was great, guys, but here I got two things. You'll love this. All right, we'll light it up. Ready? The new Cannonball Run record. It wasn't Bird out there. He wasn't out there.
No.
Jackie wasn't out there. Sally wasn't out there. But these guys, two guys, said we're going to try to break the record. They were in an Audi. You said Audi.
Yes, sir.
It looked like a police cruiser. And they got together. And
no Audi police cruisers in America.
They said, on the news, it said, look like a police cruiser. And they broke the record from New York to California, boys. And I'm going to take it. And I'll throw in the average speed. 25 hours and 39 minutes. Straight through. 25 hours, 39 minutes. What do you think the average speed for those boys was throughout?
That's how many miles is that?
1,000
miles?
I would have said they had to average
90,
75 miles an hour, 80 miles an hour. Really? Over 100?
Over 100.
It's hard to average that.
Yeah, it's hard to average. Well, they said they took every super highway and byway, stayed away from the police as much as they could. And
how do you do that on the interstate?
Did they get pulled over?
I'm going to tell you, 110 miles per hour. That was the average. How many tickets do you think they got?
I'm going to say 3.
Lower.
2.
Lower.
1?
Just 1 ticket.
Wow.
Looked like a police cruiser. They got away with it. One time they got pulled over and got a ticket. 25 hours, 39 minutes, a new camp.
How much was the ticket?
We don't know. Probably up there.
Wow.
They're probably over 100.
At 110, they probably just arrested.
That's what defunding your police does, folks.
That's right.
Anyway, that was, I thought you liked it. And I got one other one. NHL top salaries. Let's see if the boy knows his stuff.
Who's got the
NHL top salary? Connor McDavid.
Okay, top NHL salaries 2019, 2020, top five. The first three come from one team. Which team would have the top three?
It ain't the Flames.
No, Toronto.
Toronto, you're correct, boy.
Austin Matthews, John Tavares, and Mitch Marner.
There they are. Number one, Mitch Marner. 16 million. Boy, look at you, man. Look at that boy. Go.
Who's the top?
And it hasn't helped the Leafs win a cup since 1967.
Yeah.
So
Who's
Mitch
the top
Marner,
curler?
16 million. And the other two, tied for second, John and Austin, 15.9. What'd you say? The other guy you thought
Connor McDavid,
He is fourth, 15 million with Edmonton. And number five.
the best player in the league, is fourth and the highest
best
paid player.
That's it.
Messi.
He's,
Messi's fifth.
fifth is plays for Montreal.
The Canadiens.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who that might be. Shea Weber.
It says Carey Price.
Oh, the
He's at
goalie.
15
Yeah, that
million.
makes sense.
A goalie right there. 15 million. Look at the boy. He got the
He
top.
does help
pretty
him win
good.
some games.
Pretty good.
Pretty good right
So I
there.
just threw a couple in there.
Yeah. I want to mention this too. The CCA Guides Cup
Yes.
is going on in October. Speedy
Okay.
Stop Guides Cup will take place in Port O'Connor. So I just want to mention that
That's
because
in October.
my daughter's involved with CCA and she passed that along. That'll be in October. So that one's going on. Yeah.
Where's the Hall of Famer?
He's outside in his car. He must be on the phone. He's got to be on the phone.
Listen to us. Make sure we're not violating
He's doing
FCC
big
rules.
deals.
Yeah. Hey, did you see this the other day? I know we talked about franchise values.
Yes, sir.
Dallas Cowboys, 6 point whatever billion, the highest in the NFL. I think like
All over.
twice higher than the next highest franchise, which I think was New England. But if the Cowboys did nothing but play games and sell tickets,
No beer, no hot dogs, no parking. They would still sell. They would still make 300 million.
and they would make
Without
more
anything
money
else.
without anything else, just tickets to the game, seat licenses, all that
And make
stuff.
more money than 30 teams.
30 franchises.
I believe it.
They would make more money than 30 other NFL franchises. Cincinnati, the worst, valued at $2.1
They would
billion.
lose money, wouldn't they? They lose. Well,
They're losing money at two. Yeah,
Already.
they're the dogs of the league at $2.1 billion.
You guys
That's
carry
good stuff,
on.
right? That's good stuff.
Y'all have a lot to catch up on. Y'all carry on.
We're done, right?
We are done.
We can't go anywhere until the Hall of Famer gets in there.
Yeah, the Hall of Fame. Well, he's coming in. He's on the line. Anyway, you guys are great. Appreciate y'all. And voter registration again in September the
September the 10th.
10th.
We're going to do that in the parking lot. We're going to push that.
We're going to be pushing
DJ
that.
Nelson, registrar.
We're with the next show pushes that too. I want you to know.
We will. All right, brother. Thanks for joining us. Brent's ready to
Always,
go.
brother, man.
Always, brother.
Gary Moses,
Why are you in such a hurry today?
Victoria Treasure. No, I don't want to upset Ralph. If he comes in here and he flashes
He's
that
on
Hall
the
of Fame
line.
badge, then you gotta
Somebody called you.
be out of the
And he
way.
heard us still talking. Said, "It ain't gonna get off in a while yet."
Let's just stay here. Hey, let's play something. Let's play something. Hang on, folks. We're gonna do a little magic work here. Let's play a little something.
All right. We'll see y'all tomorrow, folks.
Folks, we'll see you tomorrow.
Y'all take care.
But you can listen. You can still listen.
I'll get it going.
Yeah, you can leave it right there on Facebook. Just here we go. In theory.
What do you want to hear?
That one.
La Paz?
Featured Joe Ojeda. Y'all play some
I
good
know.
stuff. What do you
We couldn't do the boys are back in town.
He comes out there and does events with me, or when I book him, he's playing.
Oh, now he
Now
comes.
he comes in. We just